and the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and it is Sunday. And you know what that means? It's time for weekly purchases. That time of the week where we investigate what came through the door via DHL, Amazon, UPS, United States Postal Service, FedEx, and of course, that cagey outlaw, Waylon Jennings. It is the weekly purchases, and man, oh man, it's been quiet, especially last week. This week, in all-timer for weekly purchases, I got a lot of stuff. We're going to have multiple rounds of weekly purchases, a big week of pickups here. Going to be anxious to see what you found as well. Put it in the comments down below. But before we get to it, we got some housekeeping like we always do. We got to set the table of the table that was this week in action figures and everything else. And I got to give a special shout out to jaystoysandgames.com. Of course, big Memorial Day sale this week. 25% off all in-stock items. They had some record weeks or record day on the first day of that sale. Just absolutely wild, 25%. And I got a lot of Jay's pickups as I do luckily live by their stores, so I can hit all three locations, plus their online store. There's a lot going on over there. But if you've been on the fence of picking stuff up, head over to jaystoysandgames.com. Thank them for supporting the channel, but man, save yourself 25% like I did this week. So much good stuff pick up in this very video. Got to get a deal if there ever was one. And I love this sale, but I also hate it because every year Memorial Day, this is their biggest sale of the year, 25% off once again. I always go there and I look, I say I could have got that 25% off, that one. Before you know it, I'm up to like thousands of dollars I could have saved, and I just want to crawl in a hole and die somewhere. But that's where it goes. That's the way it goes. But hopefully you're taking advantage of that. I did post on social media. I know a lot of you guys and you gals. I know you gals out there, you picked up some stuff from Jay. So quite the best, one of the best in the business. There's no doubt about it. Check them out if you have not already. So shout out to jaystoysandgames.com. Shout out to Patreon members as well. Also YouTube channel members. We just enacted that in the last month or so. But Patreon, early access to everything, your best way to support the channel. You know all that. But also giveaway time. We're nearing the end of May. Last chance to get on the giveaway. We got two giveaways this month. Dusty and Cody Rhodes, of course, the WWE Superstars 2-pack. Giving that away this month, and giving away a soft goods copy of my book, The Complete Guide to ECW Original San Francisco Toy Makers, forward by Brian Myers. You can buy this at Amazon or Barnes & Noble, softcover, hardcover editions available, or you can order it from me. I can autograph it, do whatever you want with that. It also will come with a Kyle Peterson Show sticker and a bookmark for this. So check it out if you have not picked up the book, or you can maybe win it on the Patreon, as well as Dusty and Cody, and a lot of stuff on Patreon every single day. Like I said, best way to support the channel. You guys know that by now. And don't forget my brand new podcast every single Tuesday, wherever audio podcasts are found, video cast on YouTube. It is The Kyle Peterson Show. Give it a listen, give it a watch on the video. A lot of people enjoying the weekly stories over there. Got an all-timer story time with Kyle this week coming. Talking about a little TurboGrafx 16. Anybody remember that from back in the day? My wife, Angie's there. She's wearing quite the dress this week. Is it a dress? I don't know. Todd McFarlane, you saw it. I don't know, also put some bars over her there. She was looking a little too risque for YouTube, if you ask me. I told her to put a shawl on, put something on. But Angie and I break it down every single week over there, of course. And Angie will break it down here in the question of the week here shortly. But the Kyle Peterson Show every single Tuesday. Episode 9 dropping this Tuesday. Or if you're a Patreon or YouTube channel member, you already have the video. You got it on Friday. So shout out to everybody out there that's enjoying the podcast, checking it out. A lot of fun over there. A lot of figure talk as we do some deep dives into some bigger toy news, things like that. But there's also a lot of other stuff in there. So check it out if you have not checked it out. The Kyle Peterson Show, wherever podcasts are found. And this week, an all-timer, as we're trying to get through some stuff that sat around. We finally got to unboxing, like the Planet of the Apes. I've been having those NECA Planet of the Apes. Been wanting to unbox those for a while. Finally got around to it. Gamer vs. Venom this week. Rock and Roll G.I. Joe Classified Retro. Super 7 Foot Soldier, my weekly toy hunt, hot on the hunt for K-pop music, apparently. Jeff Hardy, Black and White, or Black and White, how about Black Light Edition this week? We unboxed that on the channel. Blanca Street Fighter. We did a top 5 reasons why I collect action figures. A lot of people say, Kyle, why do you collect? I break it down in this week's top 5. Jakks Midnight Express, Jakks Classic Superstars, unboxed that this week. We also did a Buzz Off Skeletor Masters Universe cartoon collection. And then in a weird one, the Battle for Eternia. Now, I don't understand what happened to this video. In all honesty, I don't really understand YouTube. I know some people say I put out too many videos, but I do it because I like it, not necessarily for the beneficial gain of it. I'm just passionate about figures and talking about figures. But I know some people say, don't put out as many videos and you'll get more views and all that kind of stuff, which, I don't know, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should just do like 7 videos a week, 4 videos a week, maybe, instead of 4 a day. Maybe. You never know what might happen in the future. But the Battle for Eternia this week, 24,000 views on that. I'm not exactly sure why that took off. I have no idea. I don't understand how these algorithms work. But it's weird that that 4-pack from He-Man got 24,000 views. That's like one of the best viewed unboxings I've ever done on the channel. And it's just weird. How would that catch fire? Why would that catch fire? Just one of those crazy things. Like, why isn't other videos catch fire? I don't know how it works. I don't know. It's all above my head. It's above my pay grade. Maybe if I could quit my day job, Todd McFarlane, I could study that kind of stuff. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But shout out to everybody watching all the videos. Shout out to everybody enjoying the videos. And you're going to see later in weekly purchases how many videos we got to get down to. So there's a lot going on here on the channel the next couple of weeks. No rest for the wicked, even Memorial Day weekend. You know how it goes. But now it's time to get down to it. It's time to bring my wife Angie in here. It's time for the question of the week. All right, time for question of the week. And as usual, my wife Angie's here. Angie, say hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. And Angie's here for the question of the week. And if you want to be the question of the week, put your question in the comments down below. And one question we got this week, Angie, was how did we meet? Which we've answered that before on the channel. But I said we're going to save that for the podcast. It's more of a podcast story than the weekly purchases action figure story. So we'll tell that story in the podcast one of these days. Maybe the anniversary of when we met. Maybe we'll do that one along the way. So that was a question this week. We're not dodging the question. We'll get to it eventually. And some know. So there you go. But Angie is here for the question of the week on this fine Memorial Day weekend. How are you doing? Besides looking fine yourself.
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
That's
Fresh
good.
out the shower.
She's ready to have some. She's ready to be full of brats and hot dogs and hamburgers. Just stuff them in her. Get them every single last one in there. See how many you get. Like a young Joey Chestnut. Just wiener after wiener in your face is constantly. That's what it would be right there. But Angie, we got big plans tonight. We're going out to dinner with the kids. And of course, we're going to jaystoysandgames.com. They got their big Memorial Day sale this weekend. I'm going to hit all their locations. Got to get a deal out there, of course. So we're going to hit those. The kids will probably pick up some K-pop. It's just the usual Friday night shenanigans. I'll come home, edit some videos, and all that kind of fun stuff. And then the magic of YouTube. Here we are a couple days later. If you're watching this on Sunday, this was filmed on Friday. So there you go. But Angie, you're here for one reason and one reason only. That is the question of the week. Take it away from there, Angie.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's what I like to say, yeah.
Antone Mesa 9222. Did young Kyle ever have the Ultimate Warrior, loose, I'm assuming that means, in your booking days? If so, who would you have your favorite wrestler lose to? I'm sure there would be some shenanigans involved.
Yes, there was. And that's funny he says that is, I was thinking about that. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I had the Ultimate Warrior lose. And then I think back, you know what? The Ultimate Warrior only lost with shenanigans. Warrior never lost clean in my Fig Fed. He was the champion pretty much all the time. Sometimes he'd carry all the belts. Every once in a while, he would be a tag team champion. Maybe it was Sting, a little Galoob crossover. But I was trying to think. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm sure I had him lose. But I can't think of one instance playing with action figures as a little kid where the Ultimate Warrior lost. I could see something like, you know, Ted DiBiase and IRS holding down the Warrior's leg so he would get pinned or something. There'd be a shenanigan like that every once in a while, but you know Warrior would give them their comeuppance, and he would win that title belt right back there. But I was, at first I was like, yeah, I'm sure he lost. I can't think of it any time, especially as LJN. That was such a big deal to me as a little kid. I can't imagine that one ever lost, ever. So it's wild to think that, but he put it in there. I'm sure there would be shenanigans involved, and that's all I can remember. I can't remember Ultimate Warrior ever losing cleanly. There was no way he was going to lose cleanly. Maybe I wasn't as adventurous as a child, but it just wasn't going to happen. The Warrior was always winning. So I was trying to rack my brain, trying to think if he ever lost. And outside of shenanigans, that's it. But what about you and your wrestling buddies, Ultimate Warrior? Did he ever lose? Did you ever pin the warrior down to the mat?
I just cuddled him.
Oh, yeah, I would too. I would too. You know, I always wanted those. Well, I didn't want those wrestling buddies. They came out when I was a kid, and I said, these are like dolls. I don't want these. These are not for me. And then years later, I have them in my collection because they are nostalgic. I saw them all the time, but I would be like, no, I'd turn my nose right up at that. I'm too good to be buying these dolls. That's
fluffy.
these are for girls. They're not for me. I didn't want anything to do with them. And I saw them all back in the day. And then all those years later, nostalgia hit, and it's like you kind of have them in your collection, and there it goes from there. But even the Ultimate Warrior, I passed up. I turned my nose at, said, "Are you kidding me? I am too good for this." That's what I said.
All the
back
time
then.
lost, you could have like cuddled him in bed.
I could have been working on some holds. Now I just have to work on holds with you. I don't know. You're my new Ultimate Warrior wrestling buddy, is what you are. So there you
Lots
go.
of shenanigans.
Lots of shenanigans. Lots of disqualifications, of course. Going on. But there it is, Angie. That is the Memorial Day question of the week. And once again, if you want to be the question of the week, put your question in the comments down below and join Angie for more shenanigans every single Tuesday in the Kyle Peterson Show podcast, wherever video podcasts are found, audio podcasts are found, wherever you can find it.
You're running out of breath.
I'm out of breath. So there it is. Angie, you know what's next?
School pickup?
For you. For me, it's time to get down to it. It's time to get down to an extra big weekly purchases. All right, let's get down to the weekly purchases. And dare I say, we could go into the championship rounds this week. A lot of stuff through the door. Thanks to jaystoysandgames.com once again. Picked up a lot of stuff over there. And the first thing, part of weekly purchases, was something I swore off, said I wasn't going to do. And I talked about it in the toy news video yesterday. I got the Lion-O Thundercats Mondo figure. I feel like I need the Mumra. I need the Yin and Yang, and that's where I call it quits. I said the same thing about Mondo Spider-Man, saying, hey, I need Spider-Man, and so many shenanigans, so many issues with that one. I said I was done with the line. However, I felt I needed at least one villain, and who better than my favorite villain from the Spider-Man? Well, I did pull the trigger at Jay's because I saved 25% off this one, so I did pick it up. It is the Mondo Spider-Man animated series. My boy Venom. Todd, you know a thing or two about Venom. I know that. But I did pick this up over there at Jay's. I couldn't resist at 25% off. Needed something to go with the Spider-Man. Here it is. So I did pick up Venom this week. I just hope I have better quality issues than I had with my Spider-Man. We'll see what ends up happening there. But of course, Venom looking extra cool, looking extra big, looking extra bad, looking, dare I say, even a little bit nationwide, like a young Dusty Hill once upon a time, or even a Frank Beard. And of course, yes, you're right, Billy Gibbons, of course. But we're not done. We got more Venom, and I already unboxed it this week on the channel. I couldn't wait. It was a big Gamerverse Venom, so I unboxed that on the channel. Check out that video if you did miss that one there. And why not keep it with some Spider-Man ones? And a plot twist, I'm taking this back to Amazon shortly here, as I did grab this at Amazon for $33. Then, of course, right before I'm filming this, he went on sale for $20 at Amazon. So I'm taking this one back, ordering one for $20. Got to get a deal, save $15. That's another action figure for you. But Electro through the door this week as well. But we're not done. Jay's Toys and Games, fresh off the truck. I grabbed one right away, 25% off. X-Force 2-pack right there. Warpath X23. We just unboxed Archangel last week. Now we can add to the pile with those two. But we're not done with the Spider-Man universe here. Gamerverse, Spider-Man 2. Once again, Miles Morales. We do got another Miles Morales. All coming up Miles Morales. We know how it does over there in the old Gamerverse. How about a little Felicia Hardy, a little black cat there looking only like she could look. Miles Morales, once again, it's all coming up Miles Morales in the Gamerverse. Peter Parker, finally, the old anti-Venom suit. You got to have one of those. Nobody likes Venom injected in your veins. It's a trouble one right there. And last but certainly not least, one I'm excited about, and one we've had numerous times, Peter Parker Black Suit Edition. So another Black Suit Spider-Man. Todd McFarlane knows a thing or two about the black suit, of course. But that is round number one. We got a long way to go. And as Jerry Reed always says, so prepare for round number two. All right, the hits keep on coming to round number two. And round number two starts out with one that I got sent to me this week from a company called PMI Kids. It is the UFC Octagon Fighters, so I did get this sent to me this week to check out. I did unbox this on the channel, so 6 blind bags. We went through each one there, gave my thoughts on a little bit of UFC and a little bit of classic UFC along the way. But I did get that through the door this week. Check out the video if you did miss that one. Got a good friend through the door this week. Of course, I did get my pre-order in immediately when this one up for sale. a longtime friend of the channel, wrote the foreword to my Jakks Classic Superstars book. It is Jeremy Padawer Major Bendy. A lot of fun with this one here. Would be cool to get Jeremy to sign this one. I don't know if I want to chuck it all the way over to San Diego Comic-Con when I see him. But shout out to Jeremy Padawer. Always been very good to me. And honestly, a lot of the collection is because of Jeremy and his vision for classic superstars. And then, you know, a lot of people are down on Jazzwares every once in a while, but without Jeremy, we wouldn't have another wrestling toy line. So you got to take the good, take the bad, and then you've had the facts of life. But shout out to Major Bendy's. Shout out to Jeremy Padawer getting his first ever action figure. Well deserved right there. How about a little Street Fighter action? We got Sagat. Watch out for him. A dangerous individual if there ever was one. Jada Toy Street Fighter. Can't wait to dive into that one. Also, Blanca. We already unboxed Blanca, though. I couldn't wait. I already got him out of the package. So we check out the Blanca review if you did miss that one along the way. How about a little bit more wrestling? We unboxed this week on the channel as well. The Blacklight Edition Jeff Hardy. Check out the video if you did miss this one. Pretty ingenious, once again, from the Jazzwares team. Really enjoyed that Jeff Hardy figure. And then Jay's Toys and Games. I'm a sucker for a deal. I'm a sucker for 25% off. They had some new WWE Main Event Showdown figures. They had, in happier days, I guess that's what we'll call it here, the New Day Once Upon a Time. So we got Xavier and Kofi right there. And then I did pick up, finally, I thought about it. I kicked the can on it. I did pull the trigger. Dominic and, of course, R-Truth. So 2 more championship main event showdowns through the door this week. A little bit of wrestling thrown in here, but we're not done. Now we got to turn our attention to Todd on the couch. I can't see you, Todd. There's stuff in the way, but I did get a lot of McFarlane stuff this week. I did find the DC Digital Regular Edition Two-Face. We unboxed the Platinum a million years ago. Finally got that one right here. One I'm excited for, of course, Cowboy Batman. Everybody likes a cowboy, don't they? Cowboy Batman through the door this week. The Cowardly Lot Batman through the door. Looking only like a Batman could look if he was actually cowardly in a lot. One that's very popular right now. Can't wait to dive into this one. This is speaking to my era of Superman. It is Cyborg Superman. Looking good. We've had a couple attempts in the past. Hopefully this is the one that brings home the money. We'll see what happens right there. We also got another one. Speaking of the reign of Superman, we got the Eradicator. How about that? Getting him in the package. We got him in the past as well. We'll do some comparisons along the way. And last but not least, got 2 things left for this round here. I did get the Amazon exclusive Glow in the Dark. Yes, Glow in the Dark. Captain Carrot, of course, Amazon exclusive through the door this week. So I did get that. And last but certainly not least, my boy, little rock and roll G.I. Joe retro card. Rock and roll, already unboxed it on the channel. Check out that video if you missed it. Quite the figure, of course. But there it is. That is round number 2. Time for round number 3. All right, the table's getting tight right here, just like a young Cheap Trick, but we're going to carry on with round number 3. Let's dive into it. Finally grabbed the missing piece of the latest cartoon collection. I did get Frosta. Oh, I've seen in Black Snow, of course. Of course, seen in there. How about a little Super 7? We talked about them in the toy news a little bit at length yesterday. I did get the Misfits Jerry Only. I also did get the Fiend. So 2 of the He-Man style figures here through the door. Missing Danzig. So Entertainment Earth has these in. That's where I ended up picking these guys up. Check it out, of course. But we did get some of those. On the hunt for Danzig still. How about a little Mythic Legion? Got a little army builder here. A Dwarf Legion builder. Grab these at Jay's. If you're on the fence on the Legions, they're starting to get picked over, obviously. But 25% off. I couldn't pass up on a little dwarf action. And I couldn't pass up another goblin either. So looking pretty good here. A little army builder action at 25% off. You can't go wrong with that there. And then you can't go wrong. I saw this. I couldn't leave this at Jay's Toys and Games. 25% off. I couldn't leave this on the shelf. I said, you know what? I'm picking this up. And that's exactly what I did. I picked up another Lemmy. Yes, bring all the Lemmys here. I'm the Lemmy hunter. I'm the Lemmy collector. Grabbed another Lemmy for my collection. I got multiples of this one, of course. But I like to display every single look. And I like to have them in on card one. So Lemmy through the door this week, but we're not done. Now we turn our attention over to Target. We turn our attention to Haulathon. A lot of new turtle stuff through the door this week. Did get the old Super Turtle. How about that? A little Super Turtle action to unbox. We'll dive into that very soon. Walmart exclusive, at least for now. The Belly Bomb variant. Very cool looking. I love the blue color on this one, so we grabbed that one this week. How about a little Universal Monsters Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover with Dracula and Shredder, the latest and greatest off of the Haulathon again. Can't wait to dive into that one. How about, of course, the Nightwatch Turtles, a favorite subline of mine. Now we got Casey Jones to round out the team. Found him this week out there on the hunt, and I found a big boy from Louisiana. It is, of course, Leatherhead. A lot bigger in person than I was anticipating. I don't know, I was thinking he'd be a little bit smaller than this, but this is a gigantic figure. Love me a little turtle, love me a little bit of a gator as well. And last but not least, found this on clearance. I couldn't believe it at one of my local Walmarts. Found it on clearance. It is the Worms of Madness Shredder 2-pack through the door, hitting Walmarts right now as well. So there's a little turtle haul, but we're not done. We got one more round. We got to go into the championship rounds. We got round number 4. All right, time for round number 4, and the figures just keep on coming, just like my wife, Angie, who was just here a second ago. But now we're going to dive into it. We got some more NECA to dive into. Once again, taking advantage of that 25% off sale. I did get the NECA King Kong jungle. What is it, like steel jungle or something like that? What do they call this? Concrete jungle. There you go. I got the missing King Kong. I did not have this one in my collection, so I said 25% off. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? So I picked that one up there. Also picked up a little Universal Monsters Werewolf, Frankenstein, the Mummy, and last but certainly not least, Dracula. Part of the Toonie Terrors there. Once again, 25% off. I could do that. I could live with that one there. How about gotta get a deal out there as well? I did find a little bit of something I was looking for. I actually grabbed one of these for my dad as well, so we could display multiple looks. But I did find this on clearance for $10 at Walmart. It is Boris Karloff, Ardith Bay, the Mummy. We unboxed this with my dad on the channel, but I got him an extra one. I got myself an extra one as well. At that price, I couldn't refuse for sure. But we're not done. We also found another deal. I found this for $20 at Best Buy. I've been perusing Best Buy as of late. Found another Phantom of the Opera. So I said, you know what? There's enough meat on the bone here. I'm going to display both looks on that Phantom of the Opera. So that's why I picked up that one as well. But the hits, they keep on coming. We're not done yet. And I said I wouldn't get this one. Maybe we'll deep dive it a little bit if I even choose to unbox these on the channel. But I've been on the figure hunt, as I always am, about every single day. And I've seen these around. And I absolutely hated this show. I hated this show as a kid. I thought it was lazy whenever my grandparents or parents tried to turn this on and put me in front of it. I said I wasn't having any of it. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the show at all. However, pop culture, nostalgia, you've seen these, you know about them, you know all about the characters, whether or not you watched it or not. And at the end of the day, I find these to be amazing looking figures. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I said, you know what? Once again, I'm at Jay's Toys and Games. I'm looking at it, 25% off. I decided to pull the trigger. What are you talking about, Kyle? What did you pick up? Well, from NECA and their Ultimate line. I did it. I pulled the trigger. I can't believe it. I got Bert and Ernie. Yes, Bert and Ernie coming home here. They can live together in perfect harmony once again, but I did pick them two up this week. Maybe I'll get the count. And then you got to get Big Bird probably. Then you got to get Grover, Cookie Monster, Oscar the Grouch. Do you get the whole gang? Do you get the whole gang? And is it time for Kyle in Action Figure Farm with his good friend Todd McFarlane from the couch that we finally visit Sesame Street? It could be a wild time, but I did pick both of those up over there at Jay's. And last but not least, I got this one at Jay's for a steal. It was on clearance plus 25% off equals about $15. It is RoboCop and his chair. Of course, RoboCop, an all-timer. If you ever know RoboCop, and who doesn't know RoboCop at this point? But an all-timer, if there ever was one, pick that one up. I couldn't resist it for that price, of course. So a huge, monstrous weekly purchases as we're into the championship rounds, as you guys know. It's been pretty slow the last couple of weeks. This is going to keep me busy for quite some time. And it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few weeks because things have slowed down a little bit, as we do know, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the future. That's all you can do, I guess. But a big week of pickups for me. But how about you? What did you pick up? Did you go over to Jay's Toys and Games, man? 25% off. Speak now or forever hold your peace. That is their biggest sale of the year. You can't do much better than that. Unfortunately, I'm sure a lot of stuff is selling out as they're cleaning out the inventory, of course. But man, my favorite sale of the year, there's no doubt about it. Always big pickups around that sale every Memorial Day weekend. So pencil it in for next year is what I would say. Get yourself ready. And of course, use the discount code. Why wouldn't you? Got to get a deal, as you guys know. But what did you pick up this week? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and my other YouTube channel. Appreciate all the support over there. Check out Patreon YouTube channel memberships for even more content and your best way to support the channel. Check out my new podcast every single Tuesday with me and my wife, Angie. It is The Kyle Peterson Show, wherever podcasts are found. Video cast on YouTube. Give it the old 5-star review. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com. And so you know what I'm doing. I'm strutting and strolling. I'm rocking and rolling my way into a Memorial Day weekend.
Are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?